There was a lot of talk around when you set the record, you know, comparisons, some intelligent, others seemed to take it down to an elementary level. But how would you compare the level of talent that you faced during your streak to that of UCLA when they set the record?
Well, comparing men's basketball and women's basketball is always a losing proposition because you don't compare men's tennis to women's tennis, and you don't compare men's golf to women's golf. You know, it's just two different things happening, even though they're both happening on golf courses or tennis courts or basketball courts.
Or would quality of competition be?
That part of it, over a period of years, gets lost in translation, so to speak. Back in the 70s, I think there was so much talent, so many great players, so many great college programs in America. Then how come only 32 of them were in the NCAA tournament? So exactly what were we talking about back then? How many great programs? If only 32 of them were allowed to play in the NCAA tournament. UCLA was my favorite team growing up. When I was in high school, when I was in college, I would watch them every chance I get. I know who they beat. I know what their schedule was. I know where they played most of their games. I know all that. I know how many All-Americans they had on their team. I know the players on the other teams that they beat. And you know what? It's exactly like what we have right now. It's exactly the same. No different. Zero. So when people started making those comparisons, well, the people that they beat were so much better than the people you beat. I didn't say anything about it.
But to what extent does that sort of criticism get to you?
It doesn't get to me in any sense other than that's just a slam at women's basketball and women's sports in general. And that's par for the course. You know, if you line up 1,000 sports writers, commentators, 980 of them are guys, and a small percentage are women. 980 of them follow sports and look down their noses at women's sports. So the first opportunity that they get to make a comparison and throw some dirt on it, of course they're going to take advantage of it. But that's just par for the course. I'm not surprised by it anymore. How
much tension, if at all, was there among the players as that record neared?
I don't think they felt it at all because only a couple of them have been through the whole 88 of them. The young guys were here going, what's this all about? Like, why am I having to listen to all this? My record's 11-0 at Connecticut. Why are they talking about 88? So there wasn't this, we've been together for 88 games, the whole team, and now, you know, when you get a whole bunch of people in the room for a long time and it starts to get tense, we never felt that. Matter of fact, the two best games probably that we played were the Ohio State game that got to 88 and the Florida State game that got to 89. So there was no tension, there was no pressure. I think right after that, we went immediately home for Christmas, took 4 or 5 days off, went to California, and when we got back, there was this, here's the feeling when we got back to California. I'm glad that's over with.
Really?
You could feel it. You could feel it in everything that we did. Leading up to it, you never sensed anything different. We won on the 21st, even in the locker room. After we beat Florida State, you could tell there was this look on the kids' faces, I guess. Man, that was unbelievable. And when we got back from Christmas, it was like, I can't believe I got to do this all over again. And that's when it kind of caught up to us.
You take John Wooden's book with you sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Why do you carry it around?
Because I don't like the new stuff. I'm not a new age kind of guy, you know. I think the game of basketball hasn't really changed all that much. And people are constantly looking for the newest thing that they can do to coach the game. And I go backwards. I go back because as people are going to new things, I say, well, good. I admire that. I admire innovation and all that. But everything that they're innovating, if you look at it closely, is just a reproduction of the old stuff.
Talk about the time you met Wooden and then later read an article
where
he was quoted.
when we won the national championship in 2003, I believe it was, or maybe 4. I can't remember which one it was. But in the Sports Illustrated commemorative issue, there was the little thing on the thing that says, "Why I'm a Fan of UConn Basketball" by John Wooden. And I couldn't wait to read it. I thought, yeah, I remember meeting Coach Wooden. Right. I wonder what he's got to say about us as a program and as a team. And it was cool when I was reading it. And, you know, he admired the way we move without the ball and pass and cut, unselfish, and we get great players to play together, all that UCLA stuff. And then he said, you know, I've never met the young man, but he seems like a pleasant fellow. And I thought, how about that? See? Just when you think like you're really, really important, no, you're not. No, you're not.
You won 90 straight games, breaking John Wooden and UCLA's all-time record of 88 games. That coupled with the streak a few years before of 70 straight games. What does the record, though, mean to you personally?
Probably more as the days go on than it did while it was happening.
How so?
I think while it was happening, the prevailing thought among everyone in our program, probably people watching too, they're so spoiled now, you know, was, yeah, what's the big deal? Yeah, who's that? It's like, yeah, who's UConn going to beat Wednesday? Yeah, who's UConn going to beat Saturday? Not who are you playing Wednesday, who are you playing Saturday? It's who they're going to beat. Who's the next victim? So it was, so what's the big deal? We show up, we play, we win. Next. That was the mindset throughout the whole thing.
And including with you, that mentality?
Not necessarily all the time with me, because there was a bunch of games I went in thinking, you know, this is going to be, I'm not sure we're going to be able to win this one if we don't do this, this, and this. When it ended, the first thing I did when I was talking to my assistants, I said, hey, guys, how the hell did we do that whole thing for 90 straight games? I said, and I just started laughing. I said, that was absolutely ridiculous. Because do you know how easy it would have been along the way to have one of those nights like we had at Stanford? And the fact that it didn't happen, that's when we started to go, wow. So next year, year after that, 10 years from now, it'll probably mean even more. But that's kind of when it hit me, what it means.